Shalom. Call all y'all about Shalom. Shalom to the look. I'm having to wake up from a little nap and I want to watch some of this news because I seen how Jeff Bezos stepped down from Amazon. He's supposed to be trying to focus in on another so-called space mission or whatever. And Elon Musk got the same stuff going on. So it's been a lot of stuff going on with these different CEOs, different people stepping down from companies. And they say they can mask it with them trying to focus on another business venture or another company or whatever. But in reality, they trying to hide out from this judgment that's coming from Yahweh Shah because they see how the world is. And they deal with scholars. They know about archaeologists to go dig up artifacts and all this other different stuff. They actually know certain events took place and know that certain events going to take place in the near future. So on this part of the video, it was just speaking on random stuff with the stock market and the space programs that they're dealing with. And then at the end, I happened to see this part, and I'm going to just go into it. Let me see real quick. This one precept out of the book of Romans. You have a lot of people that's for the judgment right now. And I thought this Jake, he would at least spoke in a righteous manner. But hey, man, his ass, he sound like he with the bullshit. So let this play and I'll pull this precept.
Right after President Biden signed into law an executive order that essentially lifted the ban on transgender soldiers in the United States, a high-ranking Army chaplain went public with his complaints about the president's policy. Here is what Major Andrew Calvert, based in Fort Hood, posted on Facebook regarding transgender soldiers who want to serve in the military. Here it is. How is rejecting reality, biology, he puts in quotes, not evidence that a person is mentally unfit, ill, he puts in quotes, and thus making that person unqualified to serve? He goes on to write, the motivation is different, but the argument is the same. The person is a med board for mental wellness waiting to happen. What a waste of military resources and funding. So that's what he posted, right? And he's gotten in some hot water. Does the major go too far, or is he simply sharing an opinion that conflicts with the president's policy because it conflicts with his religious beliefs? This is a tough one to tackle, but we're going to do it. Joining us now is D. Watkins. He's the editor-at-large for Salon, and Tim Gordon, Catholic blogger and author of The Catholic Republic. Thank you, gentlemen, so much for being with us. D, let me start with you. Does he, the chaplain, have a right to express an opinion that I would guess to say many, many Americans agree?
Oh, let me pause there. Let's go into the definition of chaplain. Let's show why he actually said this. It says a clergyman in charge of a chapel, a clergyman officially attached to a branch of the military, to an institution, or to a family court, a person chosen to conduct religious exercises as at a meeting of a club or society. So the reason why this guy not only feel this way, he know this going off, because he knew about this right here in the book of Romans. Now I'm going to start off at chapter 1, verse 16. It says, for I am not ashamed of the gospel of Mashiach. You know, we shouldn't be ashamed of this, even though certain people, they might not like you. Your woman might get mad at you because you into this, or your family members. Hey man, sometimes being separate is a good thing. Because when the judgment comes, you ain't gonna want to be as one with those who getting judged, are you? Now it says, for it is the power of Yahweh to salvation to everyone that believeth, to the Jew first, and also to the Greek. And when it's talking about the Greek, it's talking about those who were in the Greek mind frame and the heathen mind frame, but they actually were from Israel. Now it says, for therein is the righteousness of Yahweh revealed from faith to faith, as it is written, the just shall live by faith. It says, for the wrath of God is revealed from heaven against all ungodliness and unrighteousness of men. And one story, which I was going to pull that precept, I want to try to cut this video short and straight to the point. In the book of Genesis, it mentions how the event with Sodom and Gomorrah when the man was trying to get with the angels. They came and stayed at Lot's house. And what happened to them? What happened to that area that they was in? And they were so wicked. Lot offered to give up his daughters. And the men, they didn't even want the daughters. They wanted the angels, man. So, hey, it's nothing new in the sun. The same stuff going on back then is going on now. And that same type of judgment will happen again, too, just on a higher level, in a larger region of the earth. Which says, for the wrath of God is revealed from heaven against all ungodliness and unrighteousness of men who hold the truth in unrighteousness. And some of these people, they hold the truth. They know what's up. They know about these scriptures, man. But they hold it in unrighteousness. This is because that which may be known of God is manifest in them. For Yahweh hath showed it unto them. For the invisible things of him from the creation of the world are clearly seen, being understood by the things that are made, even his eternal power and Godhead, so that they are without excuse. So ain't no excuse. The script's out. We got men breaking the scriptures down perfectly. So it ain't no excuse, man. That says because that when they knew Yahweh, they glorified him not as Yahweh, neither were thankful, but became vain in their imaginations, and their foolish heart was darkened, professing themselves to be wise. Like this guy right here on the left. So professing themselves to be wise, they became fools, and changed the glory of the uncorruptible Yahweh into an image made like to corruptible man, and to birds, and four-footed beasts, and creeping things. They said, wherefore God also gave them up to uncleanliness through the lust of their own hearts, to dishonor their own bodies between themselves. And that's basically what this is speaking on right here, this so-called controversy. And these people bugged out, man. I'm going to read on some more and let this play though.
With because they're befuddled by this new reality.
Yeah, at the end of the day, I do think he went too far. I think one of the problems that we have in this country is too many people have an inability to imagine a reality outside of their own. And when you project these views as if you're speaking for everybody in the country, then you're causing unnecessary problems.
Okay, Tim, let me bring you into this conversation regarding what some people would say was offensive, that his comments weren't just an opinion, they offended people. How do you respond?
I would say that he went too far, only to the same extent that the little boy in Emperor's New Clothes went too far. Moreover, he's not expressing anyone but his own opinion, and he's expressing the opinion that is...
And see, even though he the mediator, he liked what he said, though. You could tell by his body language. He wanted to hear somebody speak up against the shit, because that shit going off, man. I don't care how much fucking so-called courteous you try to be. If a man want to change his plumbing so he can have some new plumbing, he bugged the fuck out. That's not reality, man. That's why it says right here, it says, wherefore Yahweh also gave them up to uncleanliness through the lust of their own hearts, to dishonor their own bodies between themselves, who changed the truth of Yahweh into a lie, and worship and serve the creature more than the Creator, who is blessed forever. Among. I says, for this cause Yahweh gave them up into vile affections. That's a vile affection. You don't want to do something like that. It says, for even their women, they changed the natural use into that which is against nature. Like I came across a woman the other night, and the girl was talking about she with her girlfriend. I'm looking at her like, what the fuck, y'all bugged out. When she hit the fin, they ain't gonna be hollering about they want a girlfriend. They gonna be trying to find some protection. And more than likely, they ain't gonna get it because they going the fuck off. Now it says, and likewise also the men, leaving the natural use of a woman, burned in their lust one toward another, man with man working that which is unseemly, and receiving in themselves their recompense of their error, which was meat. And that's why so much judgment be going on. A lot of them bug outs, they be committing suicide and shit. And the list goes on, all type of other judgments, sicknesses, all type of stuff happens, man. Well, you have people, they be scared to speak out and speak on certain stuff because they worrying about how the world perceive them. But hey, the scriptures say we not of this world. We're supposed to be of this fucking world. We're supposed to be higher than that. Let me go into this. It's in the book of John, chapter 8, verse 23. It says, and he said unto them, you are from beneath, I am from above. You are of this world, and I am not. And that's the mind frame you have to be in. You can't be, we dwell amongst people and stuff like that. But how people always talk about your vibe or your frequency, so to speak. Hey, you have to be on a high vibration, man. You can't be on that low shit. There's some low vibrational shit right here. Somebody want to change their plumbing. Let me go to number. In the book of John, chapter 11, verse 10, it says, let me see. Yeah, this one of them. It says, but if a man walk in the night, he stumbleth because there is no light in him. And also, and the scripture also says, if a person speak not according to this word, there's no light in him too. But you have people that completely throw this out, like, oh, that was back in those times, ancient times. But they bugged out, man. You can see this guy bugged out. He probably into that shit. That's through the spirit.
Fortified by science, particularly DSM-5, makes reference to gender dysphoria. This person has no more compelling interest to justify a claim against being justly discriminated against than would someone that has ethnic dysphoria. It's a compelling interest that the military has to keep deeply disturbed people out.
But Tim, the inference there is that you just made is that anyone who is a transgender is a deeply disturbed individual mentally. Do you believe that? Which, by the way, it's your right to believe it.
Oh, well, I know it is. That's not the question. It's just a question of science. The DSM-5, which is the playbook for secular humanists, is not my playbook. I'm a Roman Catholic. But it's the playbook for.
See, that's what inspired me. Part of the reason it inspired me to do this lesson, because you notice he say here Roman Catholic. Well, what do the book of Romans say? Let me read on some more. It's the book of Romans, chapter 1. I'm going to go down in verse 28. It says, and even as they did not like to retain God in their knowledge, God gave them over to a reprobate mind. So people be like, oh, why they was born like that, or they came up like that, or whatever. No, the Most High just gave them over to that reprobate mind. When you go into the word reprobate, it just means void of judgment. So they don't have no judgment of what's right and what's wrong. They look at what's wrong and try to justify it and make it right. Now it says, to do those things which are not convenient, being filled with all unrighteousness, fornication, wickedness, covetousness, maliciousness, full of envy, murder, debate, deceit, malignity, whisperers, backbiters, haters of God, despiteful, proud, boasters, inventors of evil things. This is an evil invention. Somebody changing it. You got doctors that change plumbing. Yeah, that's a little inside thing. You know what I'm talking about. That says, disobedience to parents, which all this stuff is going on. It says, without understanding. Covenant breakers, that's who do that the most. That's Esau. It says, without natural affection. Because a man and a woman, that's natural affection. Anything outside of that, that's unnatural. Now it says, implacable, unmerciful, who knowing the judgment of Yahweh. Because people know about Sodom and Gomorrah. It says, who knowing the judgment of Yahweh, that they which commit such things are worthy of death. Not only do the same, but have pleasure in them that do them. So, hey, what's going to happen to this place? And I ain't going to play this no more. I just want to get straight to the point. Let me go to this and I'm going to end this up. It's in the book of Revelation, chapter 20, verse 14. It says, and death and hell were cast into the lake of fire. This is the second death. And when you go into the book of Genesis, it outlines what was the first one, and that's when the earth was flooded with water. and only 8 souls live so they can repopulate. Hey man, it's the same shit gonna happen again. Just this time it ain't gonna be with water. It's gonna be with fire. So if you're in your right mind, you ain't trying to be joined on to that. You ain't trying to take that judgment. You ain't trying to agree to disagree, so to speak. You ain't just trying to please people because they all fucking emotional. Fuck dumb emotions, man. When it come down to it, the most I don't care about your little emotions. So I just want to bring this up. I seen this online. I was looking at the news. Lord's willing, it's edifying. Call all you have about Shalom to the lit. Blah, blah, blah.